You might remember him as Ryan Atwood, the rough and tough kid who found himself living among the wealthiest families in Orange County in the 2000s classic, The O.C.
No way. Look who's back. You're a little far from 8 Mile.
Luke, don't.
What are you, like, spokesperson for Geeks of America or something?
You know what I like about rich kids? Nothing.
These days, actor Ben McKenzie is taking on a different role as an outspoken critic of cryptocurrency and the volatile market he says is driven completely by speculation.
The supposedly multi-trillion-dollar industry was nothing more than a massive speculative bubble bound to pop. In my opinion, the cryptocurrency industry represents the largest Ponzi scheme in history. In fact, by the time the dust settles, crypto may well represent a fraud at least 10 times bigger than Madoff.
He testified before the Senate Banking Committee yesterday in its investigation into the collapse of the FTX crypto exchange. Senator Jon Tester, who actually sits on that committee, was asked afterward by a reporter if Congress could have helped prevent the sudden collapse of FTX.
I don't know, because I don't know that anybody fully understands what the hell crypto even is.
Joining us now to discuss is the actor and co-author of Easy Money, Cryptocurrency, Casino Capitalism, and the Golden Age of Fraud, Ben McKenzie. Ben, you have been warning about the dangers of this for some time now. You even took a 24-part online course with the SEC Chair Gary Gensler about this. I wonder if you feel like you've been proven right.
Yes. I do feel like I'm proven right. I started warning people in October of last year. The market peaked in November, so just a month after Jacob Silverman, my colleague, and I wrote our first piece warning celebrities about the dangers of endorsing these cryptocurrencies and NFTs and whatnot. And since then, the market has lost approximately 70 to 75% of its value. And that's just the value that's on paper. Cryptocurrency is this opaque, largely unregulated market, so you can't even trust that the numbers that you see are real, unfortunately. So yeah, I do feel a bit validated, to be honest with you.
I wonder how you think you saw this when so many other celebrities have been pushing it, have been hawking it, have been, encouraging their fans to get involved in this. How were you so skeptical of it in the first place?
So I have a degree in economics, and I like to say the book I'm writing is about money and lying. Now, I know about money from my economics degree and from making a little bit of it in 20 years in showbiz, but I know about lying because I do it for a living. As an actor, you're aware of what people are doing and how they're using language. And language is an incredibly important tool that we discount to our peril. When cryptocurrencies call themselves currencies, they are not currencies by any reasonable economic definition. They are instead securities, meaning investments, but they're unregistered, unlicensed securities. We've actually tried this in the 1920s, the roaring 20s, before the great crash of 1929 and the Depression. We didn't have securities laws, federal securities laws. And so it's pretty ironic, but 100 years later, we're actually revisiting that era. And unfortunately, what happens is that a lot of people get sucked in and then a lot of people lose money.
A lot of people, a lot of regular people. And I think that is at the heart of this. And something you said when you were testifying that stood out to me was basically that you believe the millions of Americans and people who've been drawn into this have basically just been sold a bill of goods.
They have. The lies are both big and small. The first lies start with language, but they do get bigger. Robert Shiller, the Nobel Prize-winning economist, has talked about how economic narratives form. They're stories that are in response to real things. So the creation of crypto is a response supposedly to the subprime crisis, right? The huge debacle that created a lot of understandable mistrust of our financial institutions has given cryptocurrency, the story, a lot of its power. Everyone knows we have big problems in this country, a lot of problems with our regulated financial system. And so crypto says, oh, well, we can fix all that. We can bank the unbanked. We can build generational wealth. We can do this. It's the future of money. It's this, it's this, it's this. Unfortunately, the problem is all of those stories are not true. None of them are true. And you see now, unfortunately, almost when it's too late, the power of those lies. And people wanted to believe in it so much, and I understand why, that they got sucked in. And now, unfortunately, 40 million Americans, the vast majority of 40 million Americans have lost money.
And what do you think when you hear someone like Senator Tester say, you know, I don't think a lot of people even know what crypto is. When it's lawmakers and their role that they could have been playing here, what do you think they need to do differently?
Well, it's really interesting. When you talk to the 80+% of the country that has not bought cryptocurrency, they almost always say the same thing. You know, I've been traveling around the country and the world talking about this with lots of different people, from Sam Bankman-Fried himself all the way down to, you know, regular investors. But when I talk to people who haven't bought crypto, they always say the same thing, or almost always. They say, I don't really understand it, but it seems kind of scammy. And I say, no, you got it. It's not really that complicated. Blockchain, this, you know, supposedly innovative technology, it's a ledger. It's a way of storing information. It's really not revolutionary. It's been around for 30 years. It goes back to at least 1991 when Stuart Haber and Scott Stornetta, working at Bell Labs, created the first blockchain. But a blockchain is just a way of, it's a ledger, right? What they're doing is they're using it to sell you on a story that it's the future of money, and amongst other lies. Ironically enough, it's actually the past of money. It's an attempt at private money, which is something we tried in the 19th century, and it failed. And in part, it failed because of fraud. So all of these things are stories, but as I know as a storyteller, just because it's a story doesn't mean it's a true story.
That's a really good point. Your testimony was really impactful. Everyone should watch it. Ben, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
That was such a great conversation.
Yeah, it's great. I was going to say, smart guy, great actor.
We saw all of this before it happened with FTX.
What he said about what happened, that we tried this before, is a very important point, because we did, and there were no regulations.
Student of history.
Also, he said he's an actor, so he understands how people lie.
People lie. He said, I lie for a living.
Great interview, Caitlin.